Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret Raccoon podcast, episode 92. I am Ace.
And I'm the Angry Raccoon.
And we're in July now, and the heat just isn't stopping.
It's not. I mean, it's nice because we're technically in the summer season, but England is not used to this.
No, it's melting my brain. It's like 30 degrees Celsius, which I know for Americans probably sounds like nothing, but we're built for the cold.
Yeah.
And our houses retain heat and we don't have AC.
Yeah, because there's never really been a need.
Exactly.
There's no place in England where it's just consistently hot.
Yeah. So before you say we can't take the heat, yes, we can't.
Yeah,
it's because we're not built for it.
It's getting a bit much, and given in mind that we have to close windows and close off like areas where space is ventilated in order for this podcast to at least sound decent.
Yeah.
We are sweating, so if this podcast goes by pretty fast or we can't think or speak, please just give us give us something. I think it's already happening now.
We're melting.
Yeah, literally. But it's been a rather interesting kind of couple weeks.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think the weather has been a big topic. Also, football has been a big topic, which we didn't even talk about last podcast. Yeah. But I mean,
I've had to watch it because my brother's been watching it, and I'm like, I was happy that the oldest man on the pitch at all got a goal. That was nice. He was like 40-something, I think.
Cool.
Which, yeah.
I mean, I guess it is nice for those who care about football that England has got so far in the last 40 years or so. So
yeah,
there's something, I guess, it's making nice, but that's not really important compared to what we're about to talk about and the things we've done. Ace, what have you been doing over the last, since the last podcast?
I've been sweltering. I've been staying in cold water as much as possible, eating watermelon and pineapple, just to stay refreshed.
Sounds like a good time.
It's mostly been a good time until I get out of the water and I'm sweating again.
Oh, yeah.
So, to try and balance that off, I decided to watch the best TV show ever made, and no one can convince me otherwise, called Xavier Renegade Angel.
Never heard of it.
It's a 2007 CG animated show about a beast man called Xavier. He's like completely furry. He has a beak instead of a nose, a snake instead of a left hand, and his legs are backwards.
All right.
And he's trying to essentially be as philosophical as possible and discover everything in the world. And he can't because he's the worst person ever. He's literally terrible. And it's a complete and utter breakdown of New Age hippie philosophy. It's perfect.
Who made this?
I can't remember, but I think it's attached to Adult Swim.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, I was just thinking of The Amazing Screw-On Head, made by the same person who did Hellboy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I don't know, I for some reason have those kinds of vibes.
It's not attached to him, as far as I know. It's not Mike Mignola.
I know, I was just getting like vibes, that's what I mean. Like, it kind of has that weird sense. Because I was half expecting with a concept like that for it to go nowhere. Unfortunately,
it honestly goes everywhere.
I mean, like, it just stayed as a pilot.
Oh yeah, it's 20 episodes long, 2 seasons, and each episode is 10 minutes. You can watch the whole thing in an afternoon.
Damn.
And it's on Adult Swim's website.
Oh, interesting.
They said it was supposed to be taken down November 2017, but I literally watched it over the last 2 weeks, so it's still up there. I'd highly recommend everyone watch it because it is beautiful.
That's cool.
Even one episode is literally just fan submissions for their interpretation of Xavier. And it's remarkably fascinating to see how the fans think of him.
Okay.
And it even ties into the narrative, ? Because it doesn't really have it kind of does, but it doesn't. It's brilliant. Utterly fantastic. Everyone needs to watch it.
Okay.
So surreal. Yeah. That's basically what I really, really liked. Other than that, I kind of finished Fooly Cooly, Progressive, which it wasn't good, and I don't think I need to talk much about it.
No, fair enough. As opposed to me, I've unfortunately been out in the heat a lot because of my job.
Oh no!
So it's been a bit rough. I've kind of experienced it full hand, but I did manage to get some things done. The first thing I managed to somewhat do was watch Black Panther.
Oh wow!
No.
You don't like it?
No, that was boring.
I agree the pacing's off.
I'm gonna get that out of the way. No, so you can't come at me that I don't like Black Panther when I've actually seen it. No, that was not worth my time. Too long, too boring.
I agree, it's too long. The pacing felt horrible for me.
Way too long. Moving on to other things, I'm basically 92% caught up with all of new anime that I wanted to watch from this year. I'm essentially ready for the new anime season. I only had a few more to go, and I have 3 left to go, but they're quite long, and I have to backtrack on a few other series to actually catch them up, so they're going to be long burns. The first one was Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online. Pretty long name, excuse me. This is the best Sword Art Online story series, despite the fact that it kind of goes downwards after the second act, which kind of seems to be the recurring theme with almost every Sword Art Online story. I don't know what that's about. It's almost as if it's intentional. It's
almost as if it's not completely planned out, or the setting isn't good enough.
Yeah, the first 5 episodes were great. Yeah, they really should have just ended. They should have just called it an ONA or a special and just left it at that. Because towards the end, especially, this podcast could be an hour long if I just talk about episode 10. Oh, yeah. Because I don't want to talk about episode 10 now. But everything kind of, that's when it officially falls off, is the end of episode 10. And I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? Who is this? I don't like this. I'm scared. I didn't think it worked, but the things that do work, I think the main character, who's called Len, spelled with 2 L's and 2 N's, all capital, and the contrast between her character and a lot of other characters is she's basically a small, childlike little girl in all pink with submarine guns, and in real life her character is this freakishly tall 16-year-old who has a complex. Her head on signs. Yeah, she has a complex about her height. Yeah. And I think just the one scene where she's literally trying every Sword Art game and they always make her tall was pretty hilarious. I really liked her character and I thought it was fun. I particularly like a lot of moments where she kind of became more the character in the game, when she got excited for actually killing someone, she was like, yay, actually acting like a little child. And I like the contrast of almost every other character being like this big scary person, and it's just like this little girl who can hide in a suitcase is just owning everyone.
Especially when there's a little group of children who are playing these big tough ass women.
That's pretty funny. And I think they're also a reference to another anime as well. Every single one of them.
I was very happy with the Expendables reference.
Oh yeah, that
especially
was pretty
with fun. Chuck Norris surrendering like the little bitch.
Oh boy, I was like, oh, someone's not gonna be happy about that.
I was smiling so hard at that.
Oh boy, that's But I would, if you like Sword Art Online, then you're gonna like this. But if you have heard nothing but bad things about Sword Art Online, first 5 episodes. Yeah. That would be a recommendation, because there are good things after episode. Well, no, there are good things in episode 8 to 9, but after that, no. Yeah. If you want the best of it, 1 to 5. But other than that, I also watched Uma Museum, pretty Derby. Yeah. I think they say Derby in the series, so I'm gonna say Derby.
It is pronounced Derby.
Okay, because I know some people say Derby, Derby. It doesn't really bother me. I change it. That's just how I am. Yeah. This is a pretty interesting series. Now, I need to kind of break down the beginning of this series. So, essentially, what this series is about horse girls. They don't look exactly like a horse, but they have ears and tails. Now, the series starts and it kind of has this tapestry explaining, horse girls just come into existence. You could just be born a horse girl. Okay. They love to run and all that kind of stuff. And you cut to our main character. She's on the train. She's getting excited in the big city for the first time. And you get that moment. Everyone's kind of looking at her. She's making too much noise. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is where we're going to get the whole, get this horse girl out of my train. No, everyone loves horse girls. Everyone is like, they're so pretty. I love to watch them race. It's a big deal in this weird alternate Japan. Even this little kid is like, oh man, you're so cute and all that kind of stuff. And you get to this one moment where she's about to get off the train and the little girl's like, what's your name? She's like, my name is Special Week.
Beautiful.
And I paused that episode and I started laughing. Not because I think her name is dumb, but because that is actually her name. That's not her nickname or race name. That is what she is called.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Every character is called a name similar to that.
I love it.
And some of them are great. That's why I have a list of a few of the names, because some of them are great. You have, one of the weirdest characters, Gold Ship, Vodka.
Oh.
Yeah, El Cordo Pasa.
Brilliant.
She wears a mask. Air Groove.
Nice.
Some of these names are pretty good. I'm not going to go through them because there's a lot of characters, but those are some of the ones that stand out. Good Nature.
Perfect.
Some of them are pretty odd, but I really like that aspect. And the series, weirdly enough, is really good. It's literally about them going to a college and racing, and there's certain like derbies and stuff that they kind of compete in, and it really works. It's really fun, and there isn't really a sense of... It's like a friendly rivalry with a lot of the characters. It never feels like, oh man, I hate you, I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna be needlessly annoying and mean to you because we're in the race tomorrow.
Yeah.
There are people who are competitive, or horse girls who are competitive, but it never gets to the point of, I straight up just don't like that girl. It never gets like that. And even the main villain is quite interesting as well in what they do. There's a lot of really weird and fun things they do in this series, and it is really enjoyable and it's very sweet. The only downside is that it is very simple and it is very generic. Yeah. Some of the more interesting things they don't push hard enough. Okay. Like they do deal with the whole idea of actually losing, but they didn't go that far with it. And some things kind of happen. I'm kind of, man, I wish that they kind of dealt with those in a few other ways. And the other thing, which I need to do more research to try and prove, is that I think the audio mixing is messed up.
Right, okay.
And it's weird because it's fine in the first few episodes and it gets really bad to the point where it's almost distracting, and then it just gets sorted out.
That's really, really confusing.
If anyone who is a little bit more into audio design and has a little bit more of an ear for that, let us know, because I would like to know what is going on, if I'm being crazy or maybe that's how I watched it. But I'm pretty sure the audio mixing was bad, and it points it sounded echoed and stretchy. And I understand that when you're running at that kind of speed, yes, sound is gonna sound weird, which I'm guessing was their point. But when it's for like environmental background sounds and it's and like simple things like them, I remember there's a point where she literally opens up a packet and it sounded stretched out, like really echoey, and I was like, and then one episode was just fine, and then it was fine for the rest of the series.
That's very, very confusing.
It is very confusing. It had me really confused. But other than that, I would really recommend it. Everything else is good in this series. That's why a lot of people have been saying, yo, why is this show so good? The other show I watched was it was a show I kind of forgot to go back, and it's Hakumi and Mikuchi.
Okay.
I believe that's how you say their names. And it's basically a slice of life series about, I guess, these humanoid-like characters who are like literally like 9 centimeters tall.
Oh, yeah.
Which I find quite funny because they're literally the size of Nendoroids, so they're literally the size of toys, and it's so relaxing, it's so nice, and it's weird because it kind of presents itself as a very simple thing, and there are some interesting ideas and stuff that happen in it. Very interesting stuff, like for example the 2 main characters. I don't know if this is a surprise or not, but they both work. Oh wow. And like one of them, she's like a carpenter, and she goes out and does carpentry with another character I'm about to talk about. And then the other one kind of stays at home and like makes things and sells them in the shop. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. They're almost like a weird married couple. They kind of fill those roles unintentionally. And a lot of characters they meet. There's one character who has somehow managed to reanimate the skeletons of animals through replicating their heartbeats. Okay, very interesting. That exists in this series.
That's fascinating.
And I was like, I did not expect that. And it's the kind of, and you see a few other really interesting details, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. It's like, this is really interesting. And I think, and another character I like, I can't remember his exact name, but he's basically a ferret. Okay. And a lot of there's the humanoid like characters, and then there's like animals that could just talk. Yeah. And this character is basically, he works with the other one who does carpentry, and he is very similar to Hida from Agretsuko. Nice. He basically has sandals on, he has like a white bandana, and he always has a cigarette in his mouth. And that's another thing that's weird about this series. It's not like some weird post-apocalyptic thing. Yeah. He uses a lighter to smoke his cigarettes that he takes out of a cardboard packet.
Fair enough.
It's just the world just exists like that. And he looks good wearing clothes. Because their world is also really weird, where it's like sometimes they wear clothes and sometimes they don't, being the animals, and I don't know what that's about. Because, like, it's weird. It's like, I'm going to work, better put on my work clothes. And I'm like, why are you not always wearing clothes? But whatever. It's a really, really interesting series, and I hope more people check it out and watch it.
Yeah, I'm happy you said it so calming, because this has been on my list for a while.
Oh, I've been watching it, and I've been going to bed nice and relaxed.
Yeah, I've been literally saving it for a day when I need to chill.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a few weird things, like I don't understand why it kind of does like panel framing and transitions.
Okay.
And there was one point where it was literally half the screen was animated and half the screen was just a white screen. And I don't know if that was some weird artistic stuff or it was a mistake.
Fascinating.
But yeah, it's weird. It's nice though. I'd imagine it's for the storybook fantasy element of it. And I like how some animals that are bigger than other animals are considered gods.
That's pretty cool.
So there's like a weird hierarchy of like how things are considered. But I won't spoil too much else. But some of the characters are really interesting. But let's kind of talk about the last fortnight, as you will, because some pretty interesting stuff happened. First thing I want to talk about is Netflix once again deciding that they're gonna do the anime song and dance. Whether that's gonna be good or bad, I don't know. But they've got a few things to kind of talk about. So they're going to have their hands in Ultraman. The Ultraman animated series. So they've pretty much locked that down. Yeah. Very much like Devilman Crybaby. They had that kind of going at the same time, which is good. A few other things I want to talk about. Agretzko, Season 2.
I'm hype.
I have no idea what they're going to do with this second series. And I hope they do something really, really unique and different with it. Yeah. Because from what they did with the previous series, I was really happy with.
Okay.
But I'm glad with that. They've also got the rights to Dragon Pilot as well. So go and check that out if you're... Yeah, definitely go and check that out. I think it's a really strong series. One of the better series this year, I would say.
And the best ED for me this year.
Ending?
Yeah. So the dance is too good.
We're going to watch Golden Kamuy today. Okay. And although I wouldn't say the ending is as flashy as the ending for Dragon Pilot, I think it might be runner-up.
All right.
Needless to say, if Crunchyroll's top best ending awards does not include either of those two, something
is wrong.
Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Castlevania second season, which what have you guys been doing?
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked. I was half expecting them to say season 4.
Yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued to see what they do, because that first season, I was like one of the big
You're like one of the only people. Everyone else was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I was laughing my face off it.
Like, I'm interested to see it. I mean, not to say I haven't seen negatives towards it. I've mainly only ever seen negatives towards the first episode.
Okay.
But I still haven't watched it, actually.
The line, "Ow, my balls," still rings in my head today. So good.
Oh gosh. And then we have finally Cannon Busters.
Yes.
It's finally getting its animated debut on Netflix. Now this series, it seems like it could be in the wake of Megalobox.
Yeah.
And mainly its aesthetic and its style, because it looks like it's kind of a cross between Trigun and Samurai Champloo. That's the kind of the vibes I'm getting, which I'm really looking forward to it. The aesthetic and the character designs are
they're so good.
They're up there.
Like that, the key visual poster was great.
Key visual poster is great. You should look at some of the character animatics as well.
Yeah.
I'm really liking, and I know I'm really liking the more diverse cast. Like, most of the cast is black in this series, which is really cool. Like, even there's another character you don't really see in the poster who has a hammer. He's like of a pink tan, and I'm like, wow, that's really, for more research, that's really Megalobox like-esque, like 90s era, Western Japanese infused kind
That's
of.
pretty cool.
And I'm really digging it. I cannot wait for this series, big time. Which I'm happy about. And also I just want to throw in Serial Experiments Lane is turning 20 this year, and we have a lot of celebrations. I'm loving the artwork that is coming out for this series. I'm loving the art for I'm just going to say it, guys, one of the best animes ever made.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Hands down one of the best. Not like my favorite is my favorite. I'm talking like, if you want to legit, let's talk about some of the best animes made. I would be as ballsy to say maybe top 5.
Yeah.
Ever made. I'm gonna go there. Maybe top 5.
I completely agree. It's one of the best.
If you have not watched Serial Experiments Lane,
yeah,
please definitely this year give it a shot.
I watched it this year and I loved it.
It is one of the best, as I said before. And let's quickly talk about something that's also the best, and that's the new character revealed in Overwatch, character 28, Hammond. Now, I'm going to be honest, compared to the other characters released post-game, like Doomfist and Moria and Orisa, who, to me, kind of are a bit flat.
I like Doomfist because I love his edgy name, and I love just he punches things. I absolutely love him.
I'm not too fond on Doomfist. I mean, I like... what's the hacker girl called again?
Sombra.
I like Sombra. I think her design it's just before it gets too much.
Yeah, and Bridget, which is the dwarf guy's daughter, which I like her.
Don't even think I've seen that character.
Okay, fair enough.
I think the designs are fine, but I think they're kind of weak. But now we have Hammond, who is basically a hyper-intelligent hamster who operates a hamster ball mech.
/ Wrecking Ball,
which is amazing.
It's fantastic.
His design is super cute. He's super round. He's super chubby. He's super small. He squeaks because he can't talk English.
He's super hammy.
He looks like a cartoon hamster, and it's just perfect.
He goes alongside Winston as one of my faves.
Oh, he
intelligent animal characters.
He's up there, and I'm glad they've added another one. I'm sad it's not the cat. The cat that was flying around, Rocket Cat. It's a shame. Maybe he might get a spirit. He might be seen somewhere in the game. I'm so happy with this character.
I know.
I'm also really happy that they actually changed his name from Wrecking Ball to Hammond.
Yes.
Because I know they were temporarily calling him like Wrecking Ball, and I was like, really? You're gonna call this cartoon hamster Wrecking Ball instead of the more appropriate Hammond?
Yeah. Which it's just a perfect pun.
It is perfect. I'm really happy with this character.
Same. It's so adorable.
I just wanted to mention it. He's so good. He's so cute.
He is. He's the best.
So good. I mean, and in the description and the download link, we've linked videos so you can learn more about him, especially the key director. Kind of talking about his very convoluted history and how he's gonna play. And I'm like, if you want that stuff, you have it. It's there. It's there, guys. But you want to hit us up with something else from the something that's also as important.
Yes, so it was really unfortunate to hear recently the passing of Marvel legend Steve Ditko. He's literally the heart of Marvel. He was always the one with the most emotional content, and it was really devastating to hear that he had got passed.
It's a massive shame because, I mean, when a lot of people think of the old school Marvel, it's usually him.
Yeah, it's
and you can
Stanley,
say Jack Kirby as well.
Jack Kirby and him. Ditko.
Which is a massive shame, and I'm not to be too negative. I think it is. I am still very annoyed, and I always will be annoyed how later Marvel was like, no, we're just gonna not acknowledge those 3 legends, and I really don't like that. How people like him and Kirby have never really been. They've never really received that honor. Yeah. And hopefully more people are going to realize that, because I mean, some of the stuff he's done, I think he was a master at a lot of the characters and a lot of the poses and a lot of the expressions and a lot of how we know these characters, how they've transcended. But I think he was also the master of science fiction within that age. Big time. I think Doctor Strange owes him mass I mean, even because I think I'm not sure if it was him who was the designer of that really cool panel. One of my favorite panels. It's from that villain. I think. Is there a Marvel character called Captain England or Captain London or something like that?
Captain Britain.
Captain Britain, his arch nemesis, the guy who just goes completely nuts and becomes space.
Oh, I think I know. Yeah.
That guy, where it's that fantastic panel and page where he opens the door and he sees that the guy is essentially the Cosmo of the universe.
Yeah.
Whether he had in part of that. Whether he did draw that or not, but that was clearly inspired by him. Anytime you see someone and they're just a symbol and they're just space, whatever, even how adaptations of how death looked and all that kind of stuff, that's him. Yeah. That's him. That's his inspiration right there. Big time. And it's a massive shame to hear him passing away on that.
It really is. And yeah, it's just, we had to mention it.
Big time. Big time. Do you want to hit us up with another one with a slightly more positive, which actually was I'm trying to think of the best words to put it. It was positive news, and being Article 11 and 13.
Yes, so recently on the previous podcast, we talked about the whole Article 11 and 13, which was essentially going to destroy the internet as we know it.
Freedom of speech as well, censorship, basically.
Taxing just linking to articles and even using copyrighted material.
Yeah, needing a license to essentially repeat like articles, and you can't post that because it's not yours.
Yeah, and that was rejected, luckily, in the in Parliament. Sorry.
Yeah,
and it was by a fair margin. It was actually surprising to see how many people had attended.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times some of those people just don't show up. Even negative people who I'm not going to mention, but even they supported getting rid of this.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'm happy for.
It's something that affects everyone.
Yeah.
And I think the Parliament must have realised that this is something that I honestly don't think benefits anyone.
Yeah. And it's going to enter into proper talks in, I think, October. September.
So it's not quite over yet, but we got to keep the pressure on. I mean,
because if this vote didn't go the way we wanted, it probably would have been put in with very little talk.
Yeah, it would have been disastrous.
Yes,
big time. I mean, and I'm kind of glad that it did actually get rejected, because I mean, first of all, like I said, it kind of just goes to show that people in the UK Parliament actually have a little bit more thought compared to other parliaments, other than just signing a dotted line and then going, oh, that was that, or being sneaky about things like sneaking them into bills.
Or, essentially lobbyists.
Yeah. So, good on you, EU, for actually thinking. Yeah. Unlike other parliaments.
I definitely have to say, Italy and Spain's Wikipedias, they went on full blackout as protest, which was pretty genius.
A lot of people have been like that, and we need to. Because, I don't know what it is over the last 5 years where just dumb idiots are like, you know what, I want to profit off this internet. To be honest, I'll break it down really quick. It's people like Warner Brothers who are basically going, you need to do something about people talking about our stuff and not quite paying for it. It's people like them.
I definitely say Comcast and those kind of people.
Oh yeah, they're one of those two companies, but I think Warner Brothers are more or less the face of that. Like, obviously Comcast pulling the strings, but I think Warner Brothers have had they are one of the bigger pushes. I think Universal as well. They're one of the ones where they're like, you just don't talk about our film. Fox as well, of course, but that will probably change over the next few years.
And considering how much they are into copyright, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney are as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, the problem is Disney will have to be sneaky about it. Yeah. They would have to keep all their characters while saving face and saying, we're all about freedom of speech, when it's really not the case a lot of the time. Disney is one of the most fascinating things in all of history. Yeah,
for good and bad.
Yes, I was literally about to say, for good and bad. That is why people have made YouTube channels just on a fragment of Disney. Check out the Defunct channel. Okay. Really, really interesting stuff about the business practices of Disney and how a lot of their attractions and stuff outside of the films kind of came to par.
I'd also definitely recommend some of Lindsay Ellis's videos. She does some great stuff regarding Disney.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I would ignore anyone who's just being stupid about Star Wars, though. That's everyone knows what's up with Star Wars. I don't need a video explaining the Star Wars universe is over. It's like, well,
who cares?
You didn't need to tell me that. Yeah, I could have figured that out through looking at Han Solo.
Stop whining, crybabies.
Stop whining, crybabies. Yeah, simply put, anything else you want to talk about regarding the fortnight before we move on to our last few things to chat about?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I kept it quite quiet. So.
Yeah. Speaking of the complete opposite, you have the next trailer. Well, the first trailer, I should say.
So this trailer comes from a director whose first film I loved, which the first one was Beyond the Black Rainbow. The director, Panos Cosmatos, here with Mandy, which I've been hyping up since I think the start of the podcast, January this year.
It's been the only 3 films. It's been one of the only 3 films I've actually anticipated this year. Yeah. First being I Love Dogs, which turned out to be great. The second being The Happy Time Murders, which we all know about that, and this one.
Yes, and this trailer goes full blast in its bombastic style and down to earth but over the top action. It's a real contradiction in that way.
I don't know what's going on in this film.
It's fantastic.
I'm down for the weirdness though.
Yes.
I'm absolutely loving the exploitation grindhouse aesthetic look, and I think even a lot of things are translating with like a supernatural horror kind of vibe. I'm absolutely loving that, and I think with the combination of Nicolas Cage's performance, I think we're on for a winner here.
Definitely, and literally, if this trailer excites you, people, go back and watch Beyond the Black Rainbow.
I was actually going to say just support this film, simply put, because I know it's not going to be in theatres very long. I mean, I don't even think the power of Nicolas Cage will unfortunately like really get it in there because that's how the industry works, unfortunately. The visuals, I mean, the colour,
it's crazy.
It's almost blinding how much colour they're using.
And it's almost every scene. There's very little where it's low-key lit. It's amazing.
It is great, and I think a lot of the deliveries and a lot of the scenes, because they do focus on just a very few scenes, they're straight up uncomfortable, man.
Exactly.
Like this film, you don't have to watch the trailer to know this film is going in some dark places, whether metaphorically or literally.
Both,
yes. Both, I would say, because damn, it's some frightening stuff.
Definitely, I'm happy with this trailer.
Oh, big time, yes. It definitely delivered, and hopefully, Cosmatos gets a lot more recognition. From this, because I haven't seen Beyond the Black Rainbow. Is it? Yeah, Black Rainbow. I thought it was dark. But just seeing a couple scenes in the trailers, I'm like, okay, this guy's onto something. Hopefully, that can be the one.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'll talk about the next trailer for a TV series. We hardly ever talk about TV series trailers, and this one caught me off guard big time.
Yeah.
And that is the TV series trailer for The Purge.
Yeah, came out of nowhere completely.
Big time.
Especially considering the first Purge is in cinemas now, which is the fourth film.
I think it's fourth, this nothing to do with the Purge series, in my opinion, has been good.
Okay.
Because at some point they've just decided, let's be relevant to society in this alternate futuristic like setting.
It's always been there since the first film, though.
But that's never really been present. Like
it has. It's just it was more subtler, and it's gotten less subtle over time.
Big time, yeah. I mean, the concept has always been really interesting because it's going to happen with America. It's not even funny. It's actually going to happen. But I mean, a small mini series could actually work.
I agree
with this series, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about it. I mean, more time spent during the actual night, actually possibly following normal people, because the one thing the series has never done, it has never followed relatable normal people.
I know.
The first one was like some stuck-up
rich
upper class family,
which was narrative reasons.
Which I understand that, but the point you were trying to make didn't come across correctly, because at the same time it was like, no, they still don't really deserve to die.
Yeah, the second one was like an ex-military person as one of the central characters, which like, really?
And then the third one was like the president or something, or the vice
senator.
president. Senator.
Yeah.
You gotta get you out of the safety. And then the newest one is like.
It's the first Purge, so
it's black people.
Oh yeah. They said it's predominantly black.
It's black people, which is a bit of a shame because it just kind of looks stupid. It looks like someone watched Black Panther and went, "Yeah, I get it."
Possibly, yeah. I still haven't seen it. I mean,
obviously not.
The Purge films are like my quote unquote guilty pleasure.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't feel guilty for liking them.
I think it could become more believable if you focus on. These more real people. If it's literally just John is walking home and he's going, oh damn, the Purge is tonight, I gotta get home quick. That'd be great. Even if that's a 1 episode, 2 episode, 2-part, is John gonna make it home?
Funny enough, I actually think obviously you could, there are several ways you could do it. You could do an anthology style series following different characters.
I think it might go that route.
Yeah. Or you could do one where it's overarching following a few characters, but the start of each episode is a cold open. You could do something of just something bad happening to a random individual. Yeah. Which could be fascinating.
It could really work, especially if they drop the whole jump scare horror movie angle, which the film don't really need. I mean, it's really interesting enough as it is, just from a concept level.
All these people you think are normal just behind monsters
Yeah,
that's hidden down beside.
It could be something really suspenseful and interesting, given that the trailer kind of alludes to the idea of it being like, we've just got one episode where it's like, we've got this guy tied to a chair, you're going to kill him, you're going to be part of the... Just a whole episode like that. I think even... I am forgetting the TV series name. It's it's that weird horror series. I can't remember the name
Candle
of
Cove?
it. Yeah, Candle Cove. It's like they did a really great example of that in the first half of the first series, where there's suspicious of the main character, and they literally just adopt him and they tie him to a chair. It's like, you need to explain what's going on. ever since you came here, people have been going missing and murders have started happening.
I still need to watch that show.
You need to get on that.
I've watched one episode, which that was fascinating. The thing at the end, I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to say nothing about that thing. But, I wanted something like that, hopefully. Even if you have a mixed bag, like an anthology, like you suggested, that could be pretty good. They probably won't do it, given it's very low budget, unfortunately. It really shows, and also, Mask Game not on point.
No, they nearly over the top.
Yeah. I mean,
where's my Statue of Liberty face mask with red, white, and blue all over?
Where's my guy with the glowing eyes bull mask?
Where's my Uncle Sam?
Yeah, where's my Uncle Sam?
If someone's not dressed as Christopher Columbus, I'll be upset.
I'm not sure if they would do that.
They better, and then he'll get killed. Like.
If it's a guy who, and then like a bunch of people go, that'd be great.
Like, tie him to a boat and drown him.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I should be the writer.
Yeah, you should write Purge 5, where it takes place...
Independence Day.
Yeah, Independence Day. Yeah, Is July 4th Independence Day?
Yeah.
Okay. Think of it. Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that would be even better.
It could be the holiday trilogy.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Independence Day, Thanksgiving, and then Columbus Day.
Yeah, and you got like, and they got the hats with the razor blade, like Kung Lao, and then like people wearing the turkey masks and stuff.
Man.
And then I can see the trailer now. It's literally like people sitting at the table, and you hear the knock at the door, and it's like, relatives of yours?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
And you have people saying Pilgrim like John Wayne.
Yeah.
Pilgrim.
And yeah. Oh, that I can see that now.
All right, we need to call out the people who do the Purge. We have $1 billion.
I got Blumhouse on speed dial. I only need like £25,000 and a flight ticket to like LA.
Oh yeah,
that's all I need.
We just need a small town American.
Yeah, we need a small town. We just need we need to go David Lynch style. We need to get people who aren't even actors just to deliver these really weird lines.
Make it surreal.
Yeah, that oof.
I love it.
Wow, we recorded this podcast on the 8th of July, and that is copyright just in case someone wants to steal our film idea. But yeah, and let's move on to our last one, which is kind of also staying in the paranormal, and that's Wellington Paranormal.
Yeah, from Taika Waititi, famed for What We Do in the Shadows and for Ragnarok most recently. It continues the very weird New Zealand comedy style that he's famous for.
It's a spin-off of this series of What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Which I originally didn't like the idea of. I was like, no, let's leave that as it is. I don't really want a series following the police officers from the first film. But after I've seen the trailer, I'm lukewarm on it. Yeah,
I think it's got a fun premise.
It seems like it's going to match the tone of the film, like the documentary and mockumentary style, and I do kind of like the idea that they're kind of going to take the paranormal more seriously.
Yeah.
And I think the characters are going to be more like the joke or the comic relief. I mean, I really did like the scene with like the guy talking and he's like, here, I got the file on paranormal. You know, just like I'm treating this as nothing. That look, so it's going to file, a sticker too.
The best part for me was that the para was underlined, but normal wasn't. So it was like paying a lot of attention to it.
And like they didn't spoil too much, so it's really hard to know where the series is going to go because I kind of just like, because I think some of the best scenes in the original film, I think weirdly enough, my favourite line from like the whole film was like literally the other vampire saying to the other guy, he's like, are you okay, John? Are you sure you're okay? And he's just like, oh, okay. I like that kind of like natural, like not a joke but is a joke kind of dialogue, and I hope there's going to be a lot of cases where it's like, you know, just a police officer just being like, oh, like where did the ghost go? I'm not even sure if it was a ghost, but he nicked my hat. It's not just just like I want to see like doubters in this series. People like there ain't no paranormal, and then just cut to holy shit. Stuff like that. But it has potential.
Yeah, hopefully it will continue the same style and do it justice.
It's got something.
Yeah,
and that's good. I do like that kind of aspect, and I think we need something like that.
Definitely.
Hopefully we get it over here at some point.
Hopefully.
Because I know it's just in New Zealand right now.
Yeah.
But, it's not impossible to watch, which is good. But yeah, and that's pretty much going to wrap up the podcast, except for the one thing we haven't mentioned, and that is the video of the episode.
Yes, for the video of the episode today, we have Paramore's Caught in the Middle with You. No, Caught in the Middle.
Yeah, just Caught in the Middle, yeah.
I don't know where I got Caught in the Middle with You from. But yeah, Paramore's Caught in the Middle. Great, very 90s styled trailer. I'm literally...
Music video.
Yeah, music video. My brain is melting in the sun right now. It continues the themes of the whole album solidified in this music video. It's really good.
Basically, yes.
My brain is dead, by the way.
Coming off their album that came out last year, I believe it was. So it's kind of like a late music video, but why not?
Exactly.
Why not?
Really enjoyable, and it gets me in my vibe.
Fair enough.
So.
And that's pretty much going to wrap up our podcast, unless there's anything else you would like to add before we end this.
I did actually remember something.
Sure.
Glow Season 2 came out, and me and my brother binge-watched it in like 2 days, and it was fantastic.
Okay.
Zoya is still the best.
It's funny, though, because I was looking in one of the newspapers, and it's funny that a lot of the TV, Radio Times, and like TV listings, they actually like headlining and front paging like Netflix series now, which is quite interesting. Glow was on the front cover of one of them, which is quite really interesting. Cool. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I've only watched the first episode of Glow, but I really liked it. I just haven't got to it yet, unfortunately. But that's good to hear, honestly.
It's probably my third favourite show this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, with Legion Season 2 and Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, okay.
Those three are fantastic.
Good stuff. Good. I would recommend all of those, honestly. Yeah, that's some good stuff. I need to get some live action stuff. Too much anime, but it was more that I just needed to catch up and get everything back to scratch, because now everything's coming out one episode at a time. So I will be able to do so. Hopefully, I will talk about said on the next podcast. But if there isn't anything else, I end this podcast like I always do by saying I was the Angry Raccoon.
I'm Ace, whose brain has melted.
I think it both is, and I'm kind of glad that this podcast is over. Not that we didn't enjoy it, it was just the environment's not the best. Hopefully you guys listened and enjoyed this podcast in a nice, cool, relaxed environment. If you want to message us about anything else, how are you handling the heat? You can email us at raccoonplusfriends@gmail.com. If people want to find you, Ace, where can they find you?
If you want to find all my ramblings and retweets on fun fan art and politics, you can find me on Twitter at the Ace Enigma. It's THE, capital ACE, capital ENIGMA.
If you want to follow me via the Twitters, you can hit me up at the Angry Raccoon, just one C in the raccoon. And if that's it, we will catch you on the next podcast. All right, laters, guys.